Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. People are still getting logged in here, so we're going to let the support team get them coming in. Kent, welcome. Good to see you in. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this is about how to use LinkedIn to get new clients. And this is a little bit different than those of you that have been on some of the other webcasts that we've been on. We're not only going to show you how to generate referrals, but there are some new techniques, new features that are just released. One of them was just released this week. And so as we're seeing an increase in referrals, and we know you all want referrals, we all love referrals, we also now have a way to score those referrals, and we've never had this before. And many of you that have known me over the years know that I am passionate. My name is Dean Delisle, about figuring out ways to generate new business at a lower cost and with less effort. Is everybody up for that? I mean, I would imagine everybody that's on today with us is interested in doing that. And yes, Jim, the slides will be available. We'll make sure those are available. We'll send out links to everything that we're talking about today and a follow-up message here within a few hours after the webcast, along with a recording. So those of you that know us know that we have trained and coached over 100,000 globally in social network skills just like this. You may have heard terms like social selling, influencer development, those types of things. Well, we're very tied into the advisor community. I came out of Merrill Lynch. I worked with the CPA firm, but I was always on the business development or lead gen side. So I was the one that helped get recognition, show new techniques for referrals. And now what we've done is applied sales techniques to LinkedIn. And thanks to our sponsors today, we're going to show you a new way to actually score those leads. Because I mean, everybody on here generates, I'm guessing, just give me a yes or no. The majority of your business comes from referrals. Is that yes or no? Just give me you can just throw a Y or N in there. Yes, everybody's like exclamation point. So as you do that, or even if you're prospecting, one of the biggest headaches that we've had over the years, especially, you know, if you think about the financial space, M&A space, commercial banking, consulting, as we're tying into, you know, again at the CPA firm, is it a good client? And how do you know if it's a good client? So we're going to give you some cool indicators and things that we now have at our fingertips that we just didn't have before. And so thanks to our sponsors, combined with what we show you, it's going to be super cool. Okay, many of you have been playing in the taskbar here, so we just want to make sure you all know where the questions are. But if you do have technical difficulties, you can simply click on telephone, or you can click on phone call, and you can switch from mic and speakers to phone call, or there is a mobile app by which you can do this. And just as you engage with us, the team is going to be watching on the back end here, and they will be you know, now when we look at this, you are can actually have not just a mobile app, but when you're in here in the questions, you can actually engage. And then we have some prizes at the end just for engaging, because one of the key things to social selling and generating referrals is logging in and engaging. And we're going to show you those simple steps. So social selling is one of those things where it's the process of developing relationships. And we all know that referrals come from good relationships. And we know that there's touch points, and nothing replaces face-to-face. Nothing replaces spending time with a person. But what we can do is stay top of mind. And many of us use top of mind differently within our business. And so, as I mentioned, you know, we help advisors with those techniques digitally to be top of mind so that people remember you. I can't tell you the number of people that come to us and they sit in our training and they're like, oh, I just missed a deal. Somebody forgot that we did that, or that we helped them, or they didn't realize we provided that service. Has that ever happened to you? I mean, you know, it's just crazy, especially when you have somebody that would be a guaranteed yes on a deal. So anyway, we want to make sure we're at that level. Now, just in terms of social networks and where you stand, just so we can get a beat on this, how many people actually generate new business today off of LinkedIn? Just type in a yes or a no, and I'm just trying to see sort of who we have in the room here with us on this. So we have about 50-50. Good. So I like occasionally. So let's talk about making this more of a regular thing. Okay, so you can go to sleep, wake up, and there's referrals in the inbox, I like to say. So that's one of my things. So Julie, yes, not yet, but after today you will. So now when we think about our practice and who we are, a lot of times people get a referral, get us as a referral, and the first thing they do is they check us out. So one of the cool things is not just generating referrals, but also having a better reputation, better visibility. So that's where social media, which we say is nothing more than a big event. So think of it, you are at an event. So you're at an event right now. You're at a digital streaming event. When you log into LinkedIn, you're at an event. What are people doing? They're networking. And what's cool about today's social media is you can actually see those people and you can see more about them than just a name badge. You can see what they, where they've worked. You can see where they went to school. You can see who else they're connected to. And we have a lot more visibility than we used to. In fact, that's why these IDC statistics that we share with you and these reports that we share with you are important, because we follow B2B, and in B2B, it is important when decisions are being made. When decisions are being made, people are considering not just who you are and your background, but they're also considering who you're connected to. It's much easier to get a deal if one of the C-level executives, or maybe the president or CEO himself, is basically saying, hey, listen, I recommend that you use Robin for this deal, or you need to really get Renee involved in this, because I know she knows what she's doing, and we've known her for quite some time. And there's that credibility factor where these B2B where these B2B folks really are at that level. So Rachel, we'll have Jackson help you there. So. Okay, so with that, there's a lot of stats, to now support this. This is no longer a new thing. So the new IDC statistics, which I really love, if you look down to the third line, it says final stage rank. So when executives have a final stage rank, and that means they're in their final decision-making process. So I know I see some of my M&A folks on here. I see that maybe shopping or being engaged. There you go, Len. So in terms of my accountants and attorneys, a lot of times we don't get the deal like on the first meeting. So there's a couple of stages or sales stages that happen. So when we think about this, people think about those professional networks. So out of all the CEOs, decision-making CEOs that were part of this survey, their final stage thing was really, your professional social network. They went and they checked you out. They looked at who you were connected to, and that was how they made their decision. So again, let's move into referrals. So one of the things with social networks is this degrees of separation we talk about. And one of the things that we know for a fact is that referrals get better the closer they get to us. So in this example here, if Sue is going to refer me to Pat, Pat's a couple of degrees away. It's gonna take a few more steps, or a few more data, more information, more people, more connections to actually get that to convert to some business. So what's interesting about this is what we find is when you are just simply logging in, your profile looks good, you're active, you don't have to be crazy active. Those of you that know us, we work on 20 minutes a day. But now Pat has seen evidence that we're connected to Mark, not just to Sue, and now we have 9 connections in common. We sort of form what we call a cluster or a hub around a community. It could be Chicago, Milwaukee. We have people from Jersey, Pennsylvania, San Antonio. So you start to become known in that network. And some of you work in certain industries. So do you target a certain industry? If you do, type that in, and we'll use this as an example today in one of ours. But do you target, manufacturers? Do you target service industries? Do you target, banks? Who do you target as part of your business hunting venture? So who can you do work with all day long? So so Bruce targets M&A advisors. So do we. We have a whole network of M&A advisors. Service industries, financial services. So Rachel. So, Kent has process manufacturing. So in terms of goods, Julie is food industry and printing industry. So there we go. We all know that we have, and maybe that's because we have case studies, success, knowledge. Tracy is targeting SBA, Len's targeting financial services and healthcare. So as long as we know that target, we can guarantee some level of success. And with LinkedIn, and this is just LinkedIn, this is not Twitter or Facebook, with 387 connections, you have 6.4 million professionals. So, if Julie, those are food industry professionals, and we have other clients that specialize. If you have 387 people in the food industry, you are, a couple degrees away from 6.4 million people. It becomes easier to get a referral, and this is the visibility that we want you to see. And what we see a lot of times in pattern is that people are just clicking on things. They're just clicking, and we call it clicking roulette, which is not what we want. So first of all, know your numbers, know what you're trying to get. So how many meetings do you guys, like if you were going to get good referral-based meetings, and let's say you have a 50% close rate on good referrals, how many meetings do you need a week? Give me a number in here. Do you need 2? Do you need 4? Some of you love to have 10, just because you like to have a lot. So how many? What's a good week for you? So we have 2s and 5s and 4s. I'm more of a 6 to 8 person myself, but again, these are referral-based meetings. So the better they are, the less you need to make your numbers, or you just make your numbers go up. Okay, so always know your numbers, and then identify your target. So let's do a little bit of targeting test here. I'm going to put up some polling questions. They're only going to be up for about 20 seconds. So if you don't have our screen up, just click on that little flower or daisy, and you want to have our screen up so that we can narrow down this target. So let's just say, let's see. If I go in and I say, what is the annual revenue of our target? So look up on the screen there, it says under 2 million, 2 to 5 million, 5 to 10, or 10 plus. I'll give you about 20 seconds. So far our group is hunting to 5 to 10 million and 10 plus. Now we have some people coming in at, let's see, under 2 and 2.5. Okay, and that's good. So we want to know where that is. Let's switch gears a little bit. So we're going to ask another question here, and this is just where everybody is coming in at, just that's on with us today as we share that. So how many employees do they have? Does it matter? Is it like, do you work better with a smaller group, mid-sized group, or you just like, give me 100 people at a time, right? So far everybody loves 20 plus. So here we go. We have some people coming in at 5 to 20, less than 5. Okay, this is good. This is good. Okay, so now that we know the industry, we know the size, we know who we're going after, we somewhat get a feel for now knowing what we want. And we're going to show you a little bit of visibility here in a minute. So now as we get into this, there's a couple of tools that we're going to send you afterwards. One is an ROI calculator, so that if you're spending, some time during the week prospecting or communicating or making calls or using social media, you should know that your time is a return on the investment. How many meetings are you actually going to get? So we're going to give you this nice little calculator, and there's some instructions on how to use it, and Jackson and the team will send those out afterwards. But now let's say that we get a referral. Here's what we're seeing. So let's just say we give you the perfect formula, and I'm going to show you what to do, and you get people coming to look at you. If I look at your profile, and I've looked at a lot of profiles of the people that are registered here, are you telling people really how well you do what you do? Because I know you're all amazing. I looked at some of your websites, I looked at your profiles, and I'm like, man, this person has 20 years of experience, background in M&A, business, and they know what they're doing, and they know our target. So I definitely want to talk to them. But here's what happens. We have a short attention span on the internet. And we all know this because we look around, and a lot of us mock the people around us because we're like, get your head out of your screen. Some of us have to deal with teenagers at home like I do. And you're like, they're always looking at the screen time, so, but the whole world's sort of wrapped up in this, which means the attention span is less. So when people actually go and they're doing their research and they get to your profile, we don't want them to bounce out. We want to make sure that you look your very best. So we're actually going to, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but we're actually going to show you how to build your professional brand. So we're going to give you a nice little worksheet that tells you how to actually build your professional brand just on LinkedIn, but you can apply it to others. So it's this little profile intake form. And we're going to send you that just so that you have the ROI calculator, you know how much, you know, if you're going to spend some time, and then the intake form. But let's get to some of the features on LinkedIn, what we promised here, and then we're going to show you how to score these features. So now we get in here, and like I said, you're at a networking event. So the homepage scan is probably one of the most underutilized things in the world, you know, forever. You know, it's like if you go on here, and I just have my LinkedIn screen up, all these people that are on your screen, you can sort your news by top or recent, but these are all your people. And these are people at the networking event, and it's your opportunity to talk to them. Now, here's what's cool. So I see Shannon Cooper, who's a CMO that I know. She's a connection because she's a number 1. You see that? And I can message her. I can message her as somebody's messaging me. I can message her and say, oh, that's right. She has 162 shared connections with me. We have, remember I said that if you start collecting food industry people or manufacturing people or whoever it is you're targeting, even if it's multiple disciplines, you start building a network around those people. It's amazing when you start seeing this come together. No, you don't need a premium for messaging. That's a question that just came in. So I can just send her a message. It's just a message and that's a connection. Now, what's interesting about this, I'm doing some projects on blockchain and I'm interested in William. Well, I'm looking at this and I want to be part of this and I might want to have him involved with one of our conferences. I'm going to jump over here and go, wait a minute, he's a second level connection, but we have 300 shared connections. And I can actually look at this and go, well, who do we have in common? And you didn't used to be able to see this from secondary level connections. But I'm like, wait a minute, I could ask Steve, I could have Wayne, I could have, some of you might even be on this webcast, Mark, I could ask Dr. Bob, I could ask a whole bunch of people to get me that introduction. So you're really one click away from just having access to these people, you know, so you can see the shared connections and now in some cases see other connections as well, depending. Now you do need premium to go too deep on this, but I'm just trying to show you within a few clicks, if you're sitting at Starbucks and you're on your home screen, you need to engage in these conversations. And you know what? If you don't want to see these anymore, you can just pretty much unfollow. It doesn't mean you're disconnecting, but you're just unfollowing that person. So pretty easy. And I would ask Shannon for a referral to William or some of these people. So I am getting a referral. So that's referral count 1. It's the easiest one we do. It's like at a networking event, when you run into Shannon at a networking event and she's with William standing and you want to meet William, you could say, Shannon, could you introduce me to William? And what's she going to do? As long as there's a relationship there, she's going to make that introduction. So this is what you want. Okay, so make sure you understand how that works. Now, this is the new part. This is brand new. This is only a week old. So let's say somebody said they were targeting the M&A space. What do M&A people do? They talk about business valuations. Okay, so now we have hashtags you follow. This is a brand new box here. So what's interesting is I can follow everyone that's talking about valuations, and I can just look at them here on the internet and jump into conversations with them. These are conversations. So I can go to valuation, I can put whatever hashtags I want. I can also actually go to discover more here, and I could find a whole plethora. Let's see, somebody said food industry, right? So I could say, I'm going to look for food industry, and I can follow those food industry people within those hashtags. So I can go in here and they will actually serve up hashtags that are trending. They'll tell you that there's 172,000 followers and things like that. So it's pretty interesting how now this hashtag thing has gotten into LinkedIn and the B2B space. But we have people that are in accounting, people that are attorneys, people that are, targeting deals, for the M&A space in here. And it's just interesting how all of a sudden this is changing the way that we have conversations. So if you want to attach to a trend, use hashtags, or if you want to dial into a group of people that are talking about something, use a hashtag. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure everybody's with me on this. I'm going to show you a couple other things too. And for you non-hashtaggers, when Jackson sends out the link, he'll send out a few tips on how to use these as well. So we have a couple recordings on that. And yes, you will get the slides. Where did I enter the hashtag? Rachel wants to know. So real quick, I didn't enter it at all. I just actually put it in here. And if I want to show more, I just show more. Now, these are the ones I've searched previously. Okay, and then I can also look at these and pin these to the top. And so you can see I've done motivation, hiring and promotion, venture capital. And if I want to search a hashtag, this is what I was going to show you next anyway. So let's say, Rachel, what kind of conversation do you want to find? Let's just do this real quick, and then we're going to get to scoring some of these leads. So let's see. So no, they're not in articles in your profile. Blockchain. Oh, look at, we should talk, huh? You're blockchain AI. Good. I have some cool events coming up, Rachel. We should talk about that. Okay, hashtag blockchain. Look at, you've already got a referral. If you're a speaker, we'll get you maybe a speaker at one of these. Okay, so hashtag blockchain. And so once I do this, content automatically comes up. And now all of a sudden we've got all this hashtag blockchain. See that? That easy. And you can do blockchain AI, and and then as you search it, you can add that to your list of hashtags. That easy? Was that easy, Rachel? Come on, what is that? 60 seconds. We found you some blockchain conversations. All right, let's keep rocking. Okay, so network diving, we're going to do a little bit of this. I'm going to show you both network diving and conversations super quick. So let's just pretend that I want to go talk to Shannon here. And Shannon has, actually, let's do this. I'm going to go to one that's maybe a little more relevant to who we have on today. We'll have, let's see if I can get Jim. Jim works with exit planning and things like that. And if I go to Jim, I can see his 500 connections. You see that he's got 527 people, and now I can start diving. Well, who does he have in Chicago? Because I'm in Chicago. Here we got 416 results. And let's just say I want to do some work with Northwestern, or I could type whatever company I want. And I type this in here and I go, oh, Kim. She's a second-degree connection. I know Jim knows her, and I can ask for a referral. So there you go. So basically I went in, saw the connections we had in common, and I can go to that person and ask for that referral. Kent, we'll send you a document on that question, okay? All right, so and then you can go into your other filters here and you can go, oh, you know what? I want a certain industry. So I can go in here and pick industries. I can pick, maybe we went to school together. I can look at past companies that they worked at. It's pretty wild, in terms of the number of people that you can see, how you're connected to people and who you're connected to. So are you guys seeing the association here? Through just a couple of minutes, I went to Jim Connolly. I then went into his network and I could search for the targeted companies that I want. And so some of you said different, types of companies that you wanted to find. And so, we could go in there and find food service. We could go in and find manufacturing. We could find blockchain people. We could find whoever we want. Does everybody see the simplicity in this? Because you can do this on the mobile app. We just don't have time to show that. Okay, so I know everybody, just give me a yes if you're with me here. I'm actually going to do a quick poll. I want to know how much time do you spend on LinkedIn a week? Because I want to just show you, the things I'm showing you are literally within minutes. Okay, so those of you, a lot of you are saying 2 to 4 hours. So if you're spending 2 to 4 hours a week, that's average 30 minutes a day. That means you should average at least 2 referrals You should average 1 referral every 5 minutes. So what I want you to do today is I want you to, when you are logged in, I want you to sort of set like an egg timer, or everybody has a smartphone. Set a timer for 5 minutes and watch your activity when you're intentional, because the biggest thing to do is to force yourself to make a move. Because what happens is when you are looking at when you're looking at these hashtags or you're looking at conversations, people tend to not want to have a conversation. So we're not going to dig into this too deep, but watch your pattern today, whether you are having conversations or not. And simple conversations are likes and comments. So this is pretty important. Okay, now we've already showed you how to search content, so I'm not going to get wrapped up in this, but I'm going to show you power move number 5. So how many people actually do video, you know, do some level of video? Some of you I saw were doing webcasts, some of you are doing videos, some of you are doing blogging, but is anybody doing video? Okay, so with a smartphone, okay, yeah, no, oh, for some of your clients. So, but you know, video is funny, so I'm going to just do this real quick. You guys can actually see me. So I'm going to share my webcam, show you how easy this is. Can everybody see me? I'm in my studio here in Chicago. So just, hi, okay. So I'm in my Social Jack studio here, and we're not going to keep this on. I don't want this to be a distraction, but I want you to understand that video is literally a few clicks away. And every one of you, I'm looking at your websites, I'm looking at your LinkedIn, and you guys are all thought leaders. So what's interesting about this, I'm going to turn that off so we're not distracted, but we just went like Jackson and I went up on the roof and we talked about our episode that we were having. We have a podcast. We talked about this, and we just tagged a couple of people and we used hashtags, and we had over 1 million impressions and 1,000 views of the video within about 48 hours. And we had 23 likes, 4 comments, and 1,000 views. Well, this is the hottest thing on LinkedIn. Now, I know some of you do Instagram, some of you, maybe on the side do some other things, but what if you were to take the things that you advise your clients on and you had something really great to say, and you could say it in a couple of minutes, maybe it has something to do about blockchain. So Rachel, maybe you have some great insights because it's so new and it's moving. And so what's interesting is really how much that it takes us to that next level. So now what I want to do is I want to talk about generating referrals. So we've talked about LinkedIn side of things, but what if we wanted to know if they were good? So Adam, to your point, when people are actually seeing these videos and they're going in there and you see a list of people and you see that you're connected, do you absolutely know that when you ask that person when I asked Jim Conley to get introduced to Phil, do I know if Phil is good for me? Well, I can look at his profile, and I've been around a bit and I know what people look like, but I still have to qualify Phil in some capacity. So you guys ready for me to show you the first time ever of what I found with a business tool where I could not only ask for a referral, and again, we'll send you the recording on this so you can practice this stuff, but you can also get a score on where that business is in terms of their marketability, what the business is in the marketplace. Because some of you like to work with businesses that need a boost, need some help. Some of you like businesses when they're peaking, because then you can help that business with a transition. A lot of our people are in exit planning and things like that. So you guys ready to see a cool new way to score some of these leads? I thought so. Okay, I knew you guys would be ready for that. So I'm going to have somebody come on and help me with this next section. Linus, who's a good friend of mine, and he's also the CEO and founder of Infovera, the TiVo scoring system. Linus, are you on with us?
I am indeed.
Good to have you on. Welcome from Austin, Texas. Is it hot there yet?
Yeah. Well, not if you don't consider the surface of the sun very hot. No.
I know you guys get really the heat out there, and you're a golfer. I don't know how you probably have to wake up at 4 in the morning and have a good round of golf out there. So.
Yeah, or I go to Montana.
Right. So you've been in this you're no rookie in the M&A space and in the advisory space. And so I don't want to, your credibility speaks for itself. Anytime I've had to talk to somebody about deals or helping businesses grow, you've always been my go-to person on that, and you have the sort of the record to prove that. But you've come up with a scoring system, and I've been using this now for a couple of months, and sometimes almost hate sharing it, but it's like I know now that I can look at these referrals. I had about 4 or 5 referrals today, and then what I found interesting, and maybe you can sort of help me on this part, but I was looking at Fishel Khan, which is a law practice here in Chicago today, and I'm like, well, I want to do some business with them, but I'm not. I'm 1 degree away from doing business with them, and I started looking, and I'm like, okay, so I know my part. I can look at this company and determine that I want to do business with them, but what if I want a little more data, but they have a 539 TiVo score? So what does that tell me? Can you share it with that a little bit, sort of the sort of what goes behind the scoring of this?
Sure. So TiVo is Total Enterprise Value Opportunity, TiVo. So it's a scoring system that looks at the overall health of a business. So let me give you an example. Now let's change it from the environment you're talking about. Let's pretend that you and I are both looking at construction companies, and they've both got revenues of $10 million, and they both have profitability of $1 million. So from the surface, with just that amount of information, you would say to yourself, well, those 2 companies, those 2 construction businesses are the same, right? They're both got the same level of profitability, they're the same. And in the same way, you'd look at a law firm or a CPA firm or somebody or other else, and you go, well, they do tax and audit, or they do IP law or whatever, they're going to be the same. But what if I told you that between those 2 businesses, those 2 construction companies, for one of them, that $10 million in sales comes from 3 clients? Does that change how you perceive the risk between the 2?
Oh, for sure. So
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
Well, and what if I told you that that same company not only had customer concentration issues, but let's also say that that same business had all of the sales happen with the owner, and that the business was entirely reliant upon that business owner.
Oh yeah, for sure. That changes the whole dynamic, right?
All right, so if you look at a scoring system like FICO, 300 to 850, and if I assigned a value to one of those 2 businesses, and I said it's a 539, and the other one is a 632, what it says to you is that one of them has more risk than the other, just like your credit score does. And what the TiVo score does is it looks at not just financials, but it looks at 5 categories. So financials is one part of it, but then a whole range of what we would call going concern issues. So their base business, their systems and their processes, their management team, their growth and their opportunity. That score is just an indicator. It just says, look, there's more risk in one than there is in the other. There is another level to go to and say, well, where is the risk? Is it financial? Is it management? Is it in opportunity? Where is it? But nonetheless, for the example that you're talking about, in looking at that firm and a score of 539, and if you used a FICO score, is 539 a good score or a bad score?
Right. Well, and I'm glad you said that, because I haven't. Now I learned something actually new to do with this. So now all of a sudden it's like I'm thinking, well, I sell social selling, right? So I do a lot of coaching and training around social selling, the things that I was talking about today. Well, I don't want to just go in and coach one person if that's the imbalance that I'm dealing with. I would rather make sure that, they had multiple salespeople, and those salespeople were actually working together, and they, can handle new leads and conversion, and so thank you. I didn't even realize, I forgot about that level of scoring. So.
Well, no trouble. And we've used the credit scoring range, the 300 to 850, because our psyche here in the US, and I say ours, I've lived here for 12 years and been a part of a business community, having set up businesses in 9 states of the US. So,
Right.
you know, I'm not, and, you know, as they say here in Texas, I'm not from Texas, but I got here as soon as I could. But the point I was going to get at was, you know, at a range of 300 to 850, we all know that if our credit score is a 700 and above, I'm doing pretty good. And it's the same thing here. If your TiVo score is above 700, then overall the risk in that business is pretty good. And a score of 539 ain't great. Now, I don't know why, I can't tell at this particular level, but I know that there's other levels of risk.
Right. And you know, I'm coming at this from, you know, lead scoring, and I know there's a ton of reporting and things like that. And I've got everybody telling us right now, like, what part of the country are you in? Because even though we say we're global, you know, if we can pick up more businesses in Chicago because we're in Chicago, you know, all the better. Because, you know, I'm in a big building here on Wacker Drive. I could probably walk, you know, I don't know if you remember back in the day, but sometimes we'd go into buildings and just walk the floors and meet all the neighbors in the building, you know, and start our business that way. But now I have complete visibility into my market. What I thought was interesting, and maybe you can elaborate on this a little bit, is that when I go in and I showed everybody how to search on LinkedIn, but I was impressed with the search engine here, because we were asking about one thing you can't get on LinkedIn unless you pay $100 a month is, you know, to get the navigator system, is I can't look up companies by revenue, by employee, I can look by industry, but not dig into SIC codes. But you guys
Right.
have this search engine. So I was playing around with Chicago and working with Carla this morning, and I was able to look up a whole bunch of businesses, and then I could sort them by their score. So that's an amazing algorithm you guys have in there.
Yeah, and it's just the beginning point. You know the story because you've been involved a little bit with it. But
Right.
you know, our aspiration is to become the Zillow of privately held companies. So, and the reason I say that is, like, before Zillow, how did you know what your house was worth? And the answer
Right.
is, well, you had to call someone. And then Zillow came along and said, hey, here's the price of your house. Well, and they did it from publicly available information. We've done the same thing. We've developed an algorithm. In fact, the guy that developed the algorithm for Zillow, a man by the name of, well, he developed an algorithm that became the Zillow algorithm, is a guy called Dr. Alan Jost. And Alan is also on the patent that we have on the TiVo score, or the patent that's pending on the TiVo score. And so we've done the same thing. We get publicly available information. We're able to run a score across it. We have a very large database of transactions for privately held companies. In fact, we've got the largest in the country. And our algorithm runs across it and says, here's the range of multiples that you would get, and here's where your score is on it. So eventually, all 28 million businesses that we're interested in the United States will have a TiVo score. And what the business owners are going to be able to do is to be able to look at it and say, okay, I can manage my score in the same way that I can, which will have an impact on my multiple and ultimately the kind of value that I could have for my business. But on the flip side of it, it means that people who are selling goods and services to those businesses to help them grow, to help them improve, to help them grow their value are going to have access to it. Now, look, the issue with LinkedIn, or not issue, but I think one of the challenges with our information age right now is not the fact that you can't find databases. It's not that you can't go searching for 8 million people on LinkedIn. The issue is I don't need 8 million people, I need 8. And I need the right 8.
Well, I was going to say, and I need to know what's real. I need to know what's real. I need some independent scoring thing to say that I'm not just talking myself into the fact that the next 5 meetings are worth my time with this company.
Right. So let me go onto a database, show me all of the companies who are in the construction industry 20 miles within the range of you know, Chicago, where you are there on Wacker. And show me the business owners who are in their 50s and who have got a stated intention in the next 5 years of, you know, exiting in some sort of fashion. Like, if you're in succession planning, does that help you? You know, or show me the business owners who have where there's multiple partners and there's no buy-sell agreement, or it's not funded. Like, would that help you? Is that a better database?
Right.
So in some of those instances, we can do that now, and our intention is to do that, you know, around, you know, for every company in the country, and so you can begin to target it. And again, it's not volume that we're interested in. If you're an advisor of some sort. You're not looking for volume, you're looking for quality. Well, how do you sift through all the noise? And that's what we're doing here with TiVo School.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
love
I'm
it.
passionate about it, so
Yeah,
that's
no,
why
no,
I've done it.
yeah, I know. It's awesome, and I thank you. So real quick, if you guys just want to look at the screen here, I saw Adam. I know I'm going to see you tonight, and a few, Carol, a few others of you. But if you could just look back here for just a second, and then on here, there's also a level of reporting. So I know a lot of you, you know, actually get to this level of the, you know, working within somebody. So you know, getting into a business where you want to see sort of what their strengths are, like what Linus was talking about. And I don't need to know a lot of that. I like to know what the employees are, what the makeup is, what the strength is. Do they need more sales? And you can actually look at that. So there's some other reports in here. So real quick, I know everybody's, you know, in a hurry to move on to their day, or I know a lot of you are coming down to our event tonight. So with this, I guess I just, you know, there's a couple different options of what you can do next. So if you can look on the screen right now, I'm going to put a polling thing up. And so we want to give you the opportunity to take a tour through the system to sort of do a demo. But one of the things is here in Chicago and some of the other cities, we're going to be taking a series of partners on. And partners, you know, when you think about this, you're like, oh no, it's going to be this expensive thing. But really, to become a partner, it's only $59 a month to get leads, but you don't have to do that. It's just we can only handle about 20 new partners here in Chicago in the next 30 days or so, because, you know, there's an onboarding process. We give you some training. We show you how to generate referrals, and we show you how to accurately score. So on the screen right now, do you want some sample scored leads? Is that important to you? Do you want a demo of the InfoVera platform? Do you want to be on the waiting list for one of the next partners here in Chicago? And I believe we're also taking a few others in Texas, right? Linus, you guys can handle a few more in Texas.
We're growing all over the country. This is a system that's been going for 4 years. It's been road tested with literally hundreds and hundreds of companies. So throughout, we've got it in Texas, in California, Atlanta. We're launching in Atlanta through one of our partners very shortly.
So with that being said, we want to know, you know, so, you know, there's no obligation here. It's just we can only make so many phone calls and onboard so many partners. So if you want to become one of the next partners, just click on become one of the next partners, and it looks like some of you do. A lot of you want to get a deeper demo of the system, so please click on that, and we'll make sure you get a demo. And a lot of you are clicking on give me all of it. I love the people, Linus, that always like go for it and say just give it all to me, you know. So we'll take them as well. And as you're clicking on that, you know, Linus, I just want to say that, you know, I've known you for a while, and I knew you were working on something, and I knew you were doing this with your own practice and your own company. And then I'm like, and you're like, yeah, no, I can tell what people's multiples are in their business. And, you know, I was going through a fundraising round a few years ago, and I'm like, well, I should have done this for me, you know, so I could have seen what to work on. So I was probably undervalued at the time, and now all of a sudden I have greater visibility. And thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was
just really quickly, Dean, the other thing I was going to say is, look, there's a ton of people who can tell you what they think your company is worth today, like the market value. And I go, great, that's wonderful. Who can tell you what you could be worth? That's a far more interesting conversation to me. Right, we can argue about whether my house is worth this or that today or tomorrow, but the real interesting question is, what could it be worth? And I go, that's the conversation I want to be in.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so it looks like most of you are in on something here. Real quick, as you guys come back to the screen, so Jackson, I'm going to take 2 winners, and then we'll stick around for some additional questions if people have it. But I'll take 2 winners for Starbucks gift cards. So who were our most engaged people on with us today? Can you give me like 2 winners, please?
Yes, we have Rachel Cabaron.
Congratulations, Rachel.
As well as we had.
How do I not win?
Sorry, Linus. Coffee's for closers. No, I'm just kidding. We're giving away Starbucks gift cards, so there you go. Go ahead, Jackson. Let's give another one away.
Kent Vincent.
Oh, Kent. All right. Yeah, I've known Kent. He's been with us for a number of years. So there you go, Kent. Now our rule is, those of you that are new with us, is if you, as you get these gift cards from us, you know, a lot of you know the rule, but you have to take something that you've learned today. And so when you connect with us and you get, you know, a score on a company, wouldn't it be cool with you to take one of your prospects, or maybe even a client that you want to get new business from, take them and tell them about their TiVo score? Now, just not, you know, you wouldn't just tell them, or, you know, connect to them and look at all the cool stuff on LinkedIn that you learned, but now you could take and take them their TiVo score, and the people that actually sign on to get an unlimited amount of leads for $59 a month also get 2 bonus reports, right? You get 2 reports a month. Linus, do I have that right? Yeah, I
Yes, you
think
do.
so.
It
Yeah. So yeah.
depends on your level. It's there's a bit of
Yeah.
talking through here, but what we would call the multiples indicator. So actually telling
Right.
a business owner what range of multiples apply in their industry, and at the junior level, the $59 a month, you get two of those, and
My gosh.
there's other
How
levels.
much
Yeah,
you could close an unlimited number of business just by running your current clients through here, you know, and just going, hey, listen, you know, I noticed you have a 380 score, and you know what, if we generated some more sales and helped you hire and recruit some people, which we help people with social recruiting, would you like that program? Get some more people on board, you can strengthen your management team. Now all of a sudden you can increase the value of your business, and we don't even do that part for a living. That's what's sort of cool about
right.
this stuff. Right. All right. Well, it looks like we've got about 60% of the people want to go to some next step here. So we'll be contacting you. Tracy will actually be calling all of you and getting you, maybe Scott for some of you in Texas and some of the other areas. So you'll get a call. Please make sure you pick it up. Again, we're handling, this is growing by leaps and bounds and storms. But again, we can only handle so many partners coming on right now. So, but we do want to help everybody get leads and score leads. So we'll make sure, Jackson and the team will make sure you guys get a bunch of links, and we'll make sure you get a follow-up. You can also get a copy of this recording. And Linus, I just want to thank you for inventing just such a cool system that now we can finally have a sort of, you know, because anybody can put anything they want on the internet, but really TiVo is that third party neutral, you know, piece that goes, well, this is what's real. This is what they're not telling you, you know, and then gives us enough data to help them do more business, and you know, just taking it to that next level. So I'll stick around for a few minutes. Linus, I know you have you're always jumping on flights and traveling around, but I'm going to stick around if you guys have a couple more questions. And Linus, any other parting words on your side? I know, I keep catching you off guard, right? I had you off and now you're back on. All right. So I just want to thank everybody for being with us. And I want to, you know, we say coffee is for engagers because engagers are closers. So there you go. So Jackson, any questions that I missed in the queue here? Just give me a quick, oh, I think somebody wanted me to show real quick on video. I'll show you how to do that. And then don't forget, folks, fix your profiles so that you're relevant and you don't get high bounces, people coming and leaving and going to your competitor. Make sure you practice some of the power moves, and then make sure we get you these leads from InfoVera. Take Tracy's call. She's going to be setting up demos on, I think, Tuesdays and Thursdays of next week. And then Jackson's going to make sure you guys get the documents and the handouts and the guide sheets that we had on today. So again, I want to thank everybody that joined us today. And you know what? We appreciate all of you. So with that being said, let me just show you real quick. Those of you that want to hang around for a minute, I'll show you how to do a video. So it's this easy. Let's see, who wanted to know? Somebody asked a question on here. Oh, Bruce, are you still? Yeah, Bruce is still on with us. You there, Bruce? Good. Okay. So so real quick, you see where it says write an article, images or video? Click on video, and then all of a sudden you just load a video. And if you do this on your phone, you just go to where you share an article or do a post, and they always encourage you to do a hashtag. And basically you do video, and next thing you know, you can shoot a video. So it's easy from your phone as well as from your computer. If you want to email yourself your video, and then you just save it on your computer, and then you take it to that then you just post it on your LinkedIn. And then when you're doing that, make sure that you don't just put the video up there. Start a conversation with somebody so that they build a little bit of trust, you know, just like in a conversation. And then make sure you use your hashtags. And so, so Jackson's going to give you guys access to make sure you have sort of a guideline to do that. All right, so I think I got all questions answered, and Linus, thank you so much for your time in this. And then also, just want everybody to remember, we do have live events in cities near you. So I know we just had one in Austin, Texas last night. Oop, I'm getting a little bit of feedback here. So I know we had one in Austin, Texas last night. We have one in Chicago tonight. We have some conferences. So if, oh, you know what I was going to mention too, if you guys want tickets to Wealth Tech, we're going to be at Wealth Tech as well. Make sure you ping me. You see where it says my email, dean@forwardprogress.net. I have a couple of free passes to Wealth Tech, and these are compliments of Linus and the team have helped us sponsor some tickets. So if you guys want to access to Morningstar at their facility here in Chicago, we're going to be having an amazing event, a couple hundred people. We're also broadcasting that event. So if you want to get access to the online, email me, dean@forwardprogress.net, and I'll make sure that you guys get access to this. Oh, yes, and also Bruce is on with us today and reminding us that we're also presenting at and we're also filming at the AMAA conference at Lowe's Theater from July 17th to the 19th for wealth management and financial advisors. So if you want to be, if you want to come to that, you guys will all get an invitation to that anyway. And if you want discounted tickets, let us know about that too. So anyway, did everybody learn at least one new thing out of this today? Did everybody learn at least one new thing? Yes, okay, good. Well, take it and use it. If you learned something here today, practice, okay? Practice. That's how you get, my martial arts teacher always told me. My master was like, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. So practice running your TiVo scores, practice your LinkedIn, practice engaging. You get coffee and closes and more money in the bank, and that's a good thing. All right, everybody. Well, listen, from all of us here at Social Jack headquarters in Chicago, and from Linus and the InfoVera and TiVo team out there in hot Austin, Texas, we are happy that you were with us today, and we will send you a link to everything and all the recordings. And those of you that requested demos and leads and want to be a partner, we'll contact you right away. And thank you. And we'll see you online generating referrals and scoring some new clients. Take care, everybody.